Hello everyone, trading is closed on the 18th of June 2024. As always, we'll begin with our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then we'll make our predictions. Well, this is my trading plan for Thursday. The market's closed tomorrow. This is my trading plan for Thursday, June 20th. Let's remember my calls can be wrong, and any trade you make should be made at your own risk. I have the targets. I give MEJT targets. Please remember these are targets. They're also support and resistance levels. They don't say where one enters. We had a target from yesterday, 54.59.96. We said unless we gapped up smartly, it should print. Well, we gapped up. I never really defined smartly, but it was obvious by the end of the first 5 minutes we left yesterday's close in the dust. So I'm going to call that gapping up smartly. It takes the time off the table, but not the price, and we have to add 54.59.96 to the list. This was the pattern today with the early low, and Thursday should be the pattern with the early high. This is just a reminder of what we said. So unless we gap up smartly, the rules call for it to print. And if it gaps up and you're not certain if it's smart or it isn't, it's gapping up smartly or not smartly, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have enough to risk money. Well, during the day, MEJT gave a buy signal. The minimum target printed immediately. We got a little more. It didn't stick. This drop happened when the buy signal was still active, so drops won't stick, and they retraced, and that's already played out. These are the DeMark accounts. We have bar 12 of 13 of the DeMark sequential sell signal. We have bar 12 and possibly 13 of a DeMark combo sell signal. Last three bars don't have to obey all the rules. So if you go even slightly higher, just a couple of points, we'll certainly be in bar 13 on each one of these two signals. And when bar 13 prints at the same time, its signals give a powerful, they give a powerful message. Now, the message doesn't always work, but when it works, and when they print at the same time, you get a much stronger signal. So if we start to drop, and that won't always happen, but if we start to drop, the fact that we would have printed bar 13 with any higher prices here would be one of his criteria for a strong reversal and not just a run-of-the-mill one. Now, these indicators tell you when they print bar 13, and for all intents and purposes, we're within a point or two of it. It could even print in futures tomorrow if you use the futures chart. It means you're overextended. Now, overextended often will correct by dropping in price, but it can also correct by consolidating in time. It can even get more overextended. Just be aware if there's nothing in any system which says you're near the end of the line, you probably aren't near the end of the line. If there is something that says you're near the end of the line, it doesn't always work, but at least it's possible to work. So any higher price here, and as far as I'm concerned, we're close enough right now, by his criteria, would say that any drop here, should it begin, would tend to be a strong drop. It means if you're long here, you need to stop, and if we start to drop, you could be paid off handsomely if we start to drop, which hasn't happened yet. The odds are pretty good we are going to start to drop because we have the wall with gap pattern. Here's your wall, here's your gap. These things are unstable patterns. The vast majority of the time, not every time, this gap is going to fill the next day of trading, which is Thursday. or at the very latest at Friday's open. Now, it doesn't happen every time, and if we don't print this price, if we don't undercut this at Friday's open, it doesn't have to print anytime soon. But this is a pattern which frequently will print either Thursday or at Friday's open. This once again tells us by a different methodology that we're in a time frame where a credible top could take place. I don't think our wave count has changed much. We didn't go high enough to make a difference. That could still be magenta A. There's still a fib relationship at magenta C. Again, there can be other relationships too, but all these different systems are coming together saying this is a high-risk area if you're along, and they're all implying that if we start down, could be a very sizable drop. Until we start dropping, I'm keeping my powder dry, but that doesn't mean I'm never going to start using it. Early high on the 20th. Pattern has an early high. It doesn't tell us where we open. And once again, if we hit higher prices in futures Wednesday morning, that would trigger DeMarc's work not on the daily chart, but on the futures chart. Today's day-long rally couldn't clear recent highs at the close, so it didn't accomplish anything. We did print a new all-time high, it just couldn't hold, and that's not what you want to see when you break out to new all-time highs. Could all change Thursday, but we don't have it yet. Breadth remains an impediment to the sustainable rally from here. Fewer and fewer stocks are taking the market higher, even as we're printing higher highs. Fewer and fewer stocks are participating. DeMarc's indicators are signaling we're overextended, and the wave count allows for a drop here too. So in terms of time, that's not necessarily price, but in terms of time, it shouldn't be long before we start a tradable decline. So just to review, it's the pattern on Thursday with the early high. Any higher price here, either Wednesday morning during futures, or preferably early Thursday with trigger bar 13 on DeMarc's combo and sequential sells. There'd be a likelihood we would undercut this low, and if, underline the word if those things happen, all we need is to get confirmation by going 1 penny under the next day's close, under Thursday's close, if this happens Thursday, to confirm we have a top which could be a significant top. And that's today's call.